So we are studying the seventh chapter of Kant's philosophy, that is regarding the indisposition. So in this we covered the half topic, that is up to the homeopathy divides into two parts, that is the science of homeopathy and the art of homeopathy. Now the next part, what Dr. Kent told in this topic, that is we study disease as a disorder of human economy in the symptom of disease itself, that is we study disease as the disorder of human economy in the symptom of disease itself. We also study the disease from the symptom of medicines that have caused disorder in the economy. Indeed, we can study the nature and the quality of disease as much by studying the materia medica as by studying symptom of a disease, and when we cannot fill our time in studying symptom from sick folks, it is well to use the time in studying the symptomatology of materia medica. True knowledge consists in becoming acquainted with understanding the nature and the quality of a remedy, its appearance, its image, and its relation to man in his sickness. Then, by studying the nature of sickness in the human family, to compare that sickness with symptom of a materia medica. By this means, we become acquainted with the law of cure and all that it leads to, formulate doctrines by which the law may be applied and made use of by arranging the truth in form to be pursued by the human mind. So in this paragraph they explain about, that is we know about the knowledge of disease from patient also, and the that is disease of medicine means knowledge about the medicine from the medicine itself, and when we match the disease of patient to the disease of medicine, then there is a cure of patient. That is the true knowledge consists in becoming acquainted with the understanding the nature and the quality of a remedy, its appearance, its image, and its relation to man in his sickness. And then by studying the nature of sickness in the human family, to compare the sickness with the symptoms of materia medica, means we study the disease from the patient, that is we get knowledge about the symptoms of disease from the patient, and we will match that portrait of disease with a portrait of medicine. And what is the portrait of medicine? This is the proving of medicine on healthy human beings, and we collect that number of symptoms and we record it in the materia medica. So in the we match that disease symptom with the medicinal symptom in a materia medica, and we uh, uh, cure the patient on the law of similia, that is similia similibus curanda. On the basis of this law we make the cure of that patient. So this is the basic paragraph. We explain about the law of similia regarding the disease of patient plus disease of medicine that leads to the cure of patient. Then next is, this is but the science, and we may notwithstanding fail to heal the sick. You will observe some who know the science go out and make improper application of the remedies and seem to have no ability to pursue in a remedy that which is similar to disease. I believe if they had a candid love for the work, they would overcome this, but they think more of their pocketbooks. The physician who is the most successful is he who will first heal for the love of healing, who will practice first for the purpose of verifying his knowledge and performing his use for the love of it. I have never known such a one to fail. This love stimulates him to proceed and not to be discouraged with his first failures, and leads him to success in simple things first and then in greater things. If he did not have an unusual affection for it, he would not succeed in it. An artist once was asked how it was that he mixed his paints so wonderfully, and he replied, with his, with brain, sir. So one may have all the knowledge of homeopathy that it is possible for human being to have, and yet to be failures in applying that art in its beauty and loveliness. If he have no affection for it, it will be seen to be a mere matter of memory and superficial intelligence. As he learns to love it and dwell upon it as the very life of him, then he understands it as art and can apply it in the highest degree. The continuous application of it will lead any physician of ordinary intelligence so far into the perceptions of his work that he will be able to pursue by the symptoms that the whole state of the economy, and the when reading proving to pursue the very nature of the sickness expressed in the provings. This degree of perceptions will enable him to see outwardly reflected image. You will not have to observe long and to be among physicians long before you will find that many of them have most external memory of the materia medica, that they have no idea of the nature of medicines they use, no perceptions of the quality or the image of a remedy. It does not come up before their mind as an artist's picture. It is cold, it is far away. An artist work on a picture so that he see it day and night. He figures it out from his very affections. He figures out every line that he is going to put in the next day stands before it, and he is delighted in it and loves it. So it is with the image of a remedy. That image comes out before the mind so that it is outwardly reflected image of the inner nature, as if one man had proved it. If the symptoms do not take form, the physician does not know his patient and does not know his remedy. This is not thing that can open out the mind instantly. You are as it were coming out of the world where the education consists in memorizing symptoms and memorizing keynotes and learning prescriptions with really nothing in the mind. The memory is only charged with a mass of information that has no application and is only confusion leading to worse confusion. There is no order in it. Hahnemann says, in a word, the totality of the symptoms must be principal. Indeed, the only thing the physician has to take note of in every case of disease and to remove by means of his art, in order that it shall be cured and transferred into health. That is the turning of internal disorder into the order manifested in the way we have heretofore explained, from the above downwards, from within out, and in the reverse order of coming of the symptoms. So this is a big paragraph which explain about the what is the qualities of physician, how the physician should practice, or how his qualities may be present in him, that he will practice homeopathy very nicely. So in this they explain the different qualities regarding the physicians, that is physician must have a love for his work, that is love for homeopathy, and if he having a love for homeopathy, he will practice or he will gain the pure knowledge, and we find out the theme of nature of disease and find the true totality, and that true totality can cure the patient totally. So in this, the physician who is going to practice a homeopathy, or he is going to apply the art of homeopathy, in that case he must have a love for homeopathy. That is, they gave example of a painter, in that the how the paints are mixed wonderfully. In that case the painter may reply as with his brain, but when he is doing his work with brain, it is not the art. When along with the brain he apply his love or dedication for that work, then the will be the wonderful work. So in that case, when physician doing his work not only with his intelligence, that is only knowing things is not important, but knowing things with how to apply them, it is important. So in that case, when you are treating some patients or you are doing on some case, that is you are solving some case, in that case you have a love for that thing. That is, if you have a love for that thing, you will do from your heart and not from your brain only. That is the intelligence of brain, it will only give a artificial intelligence, but when you do your work from your heart, it will be the great work. So while practicing the homeopathy, the physician must have a love for homeopathy. That is, he should do each and every case with his love and with his brain also. That is, he must have a knowledge about that thing, but only the artificial intelligence is not important. Along with artificial intelligence, he must have a faith or affections for that thing, that he has to cure the patient or he has to treat that patient, then it is a real work. That is only mugging up a materia medica or only keynotes and giving medicines on the basis of only keynotes or characteristics symptoms, it is not a homeopathy. To practice a homeopathy, you must have a love for your work. That is, you spend your whole day and night for that work. When you are solving some case, in your mind there is a presence of only your case. That is, what should be the symptoms that you have to take for the totality, what are the symptoms you not taking for the totality. That is, the whole your brain and mind is on the way of your practicing. That is, you must practice with a whole focus and with a love and brain also. That is, only artificial intelligence is not important. Along with this, you must have a love for your work or love for homeopathy, then and then only there is a pure knowledge we find out with the nature of disease, that will find out the nature of the disease and the final true picture of the disease, and that will leads to the total cure of the patient. So in this all paragraph they explain about these things, the qualities of physician. That is, physician must have a love for homeopathy, and only artificial intelligence or the memorizing the symptoms or memorizing the keynotes or learning the prescriptions with really nothing in mind. The memory is only the charged with a mass of information. That is, you only charged with a mass of information that may go at any time, or that may go in a wrong prescription also, or that may creates a worse confusion in the mind of physician. So there is no order in it. So Hahnemann says about it, that is, in a word, the totality of the symptoms must be the principle. That is, you must, that is, totality of symptom must be the principle. Indeed, the only thing the physician has to take the note of in every case of disease, and to remove by means of his art, in order that it shall be cured and transferred into health. That is, you must do your practice with the art of homeopathy, and that will lead the patients to the cure or to the health. So that is the turning of an internal disorder into the manifested into order, manifested in a way we have hetero explained. That is, from the symptom must go from the Hering's law of cure, that is above downward, from within outward, and the reverse order of their coming. So when you are treating the patient, you must know how the patient is going to treat, or how the symptoms are removing. That is, symptom must be removed from the Hering's law of cure, that is above downwards, from within outward, in the reverse order of their coming. So this is the ideal way of cure. So after this, that is, the homeopathy is divided into two parts, that is the science of homeopathy and the art of homeopathy. That is, in a word, the totality of symptom must be the principle. Indeed, the only thing the physician has to take note of in every case of disease, and to remove by means of his art, in order that it shall be cured and transferred into the health. that is the turning of internal disorder into the order manifested in the way we have hetero for explained from the above downward, from within outward, and in the reverse order of their coming. So this love stimulates him to proceed and not to be discouraged with his first failures, and leads him to success in simple things first and then in greater things. When the physician work with love, that is, this love stimulate him to proceed. This love makes him to proceed, not to be discouraged. When there is a failures in some previous cases, the physician not discouraged and with his first failures, and leads him to the success in a very simple things in first and then in a greater things. And if he did not have a unusual affection for it, it would not be succeed in it. That is, when he is doing his work only with brain, and when there is a failure and not any affection for his work, then it would not succeed in it. So as he learns to love it and dwell upon it as the very life of him, then he understands it as art and can apply it in the highest degree. That is, when he doing his work with love and affections, then and then only he can understand the art of homeopathy and can apply it in a highest degree. So this is about the indisposition, what Dr. Kent explained in chapter number 7 in Kant's philosophy. So all of you understand about what Dr. Kant explained about the indisposition in chapter number 7. Yes, all of you understand? Yes, are you able to listen? Okay, so in this the main points which are present in this topic that you have to remember, or you have to mention if the indisposition according to Kant is asked in exam. So in this you have to mention the points, that is, first it is given under the footnote aphorism number 7. Then indisposition means it is a there is a apparent disease which are not the diseases but the disturbed state that may be called as a indisposition. And there here is importance is given to the removal of cause of that is and the removal of their cause. When you remove the exciting cause and maintaining cause, there is a removal of indisposition. This is the main point regarding the indisposition. Then after this there are examples. Then what is the difference between disease and indisposition you have to remember. Then what is the allopathic concept they explain about the disease. Then the homeopathy divides into 2 points, that is science and art. Then disease of patient and disease of medicines that leads to the cure of patient. And lastly the love for homeopathy. The physician must have a love for homeopathy, and when he treat his patients with love, affection and brain, then they leads to the cure and health of a patient. So these are the different points that you have to remember regarding the indisposition according to Kent, and you have to explain these points or elaborate these points. So in short, what is indisposition? So in this, in general, indisposition means it is by indisposition Hahnemann means a slight alteration of health manifested by one or more trivial symptoms, which a slight alteration in the diet and regimen will usually suffice to dispel. That is, when you changes some slight alteration in a diet and regimen, that usually dispel or recovered. So in disease proper, the vital force cannot adjust itself automatically even with adequate hygienic and dietetic measures, but requires a specific stimulus in the form of medicine for the restoration of health. That is, but when there is a presence of disease condition, in that you may require medicines to stimulate that vital force and to make the restoration of health. It is sometimes seen that patients complain of some very slight symptoms that appear shortly. Usually, these symptoms are so significant that by some modifications of diet and regulating habit, they disappear. They do not require any active medical aid. So, this slight suffering is called as a indisposition. So, now I am telling about the indisposition in general. Up till now, we study about the indisposition according to Dr. Kent. But actually, what to write when there is a only indisposition? In general, you are asking about the indisposition. So, in this, you have to explain the aphorism number 150, that is indisposition given in aphorism number 150. So, in this, after explaining about the definition, you have to give the examples regarding the indisposition. And after giving the examples of indisposition, then the causes of indisposition. So, in this, the indisposition is caused by exciting or maintaining causes, also termed as a causa occasionalis, and this makes them different from dynamic disease, which is caused by the dynamic morphic agent. What are the causes of indisposition? That is exciting and maintaining causes. Now, what is the treatment of indisposition? So, in treatment part, you have to write the treatment of indisposition necessarily involves removal of these causes wherever they exist. That is, you have to remove the cause. The vital force is superficially affected and does not require medical aid. That is, in that case, the vital force is superficially affected and you do not require any medical aid for the restoration of its normal harmonious flow. But in case of dynamic disease, the vital force is so deranged that it does not restore the health without medicinal help. So, eradication of causes of miasmatic diseases requires the medicinal aid. So, this is the treatment of indisposition. Now, what is the gist of this aphorism 150? So, in this, the indispositions require only change in diet or habits of living. Every organism has a power of enduring for a certain time a disturbances of the equilibrium of the stimuli, and once the stimuli is restored, it rebounds to normal functions. So this is the gist of aphorism 150. And now you have to give the difference between disease and indisposition. So tell me about what is the difference between disease and indisposition. Anyone can tell me about difference between disease and indisposition? Yes, anyone can tell what is the difference between disease and indisposition? It can be asked for a 5 marks question. Yes, what is disease? You have to differentiate between disease and indisposition. Different points regarding disease and indisposition. This may be asked for a 5 mark question. Only difference between disease and indisposition. So you have to give the definition of disease, you have to give the definition of indisposition, you have to give the cause of disease, you have to give the cause of indisposition, then you have to give the treatment of disease, you have to give the treatment of indisposition, you have to give the types of or aspects of disease, you have to give the types of indisposition. Anyone? Now I tell you the points regarding the difference between disease and indisposition. Yes, are you able to listen me? Yes. तो क्या हो सकता है डिफरेंस, क्या हो सकता है डिसीज में और इंडिस्पोजिशन में? हाँ, एक पॉइंट हो सकता है डिफरेंस का। हाँ। यस। हाँ, डिफरेंट कॉजेस, दैट मे बी एक्साइटिंग और दैट मे बी मेंटेनिंग कॉजेस. त्याच्यामध्ये मी 5 पॉइंट्स सांगते तुम्हाला डिफरन्सचे, आता ते लक्षात ठेवा. डिसीज अँड इनडिस्पोजिशन. व्हॉट आर द डिफरन्स बिटवीन डिसीज अँड इनडिस्पोजिशन? तर त्याच्यामध्ये पहिला पॉइंट रिगार्डिंग द डिसीज, तर त्याच्यामध्ये त्यांनी डेफिनेशन दिली. व्हॉट इज मीन बाय डिसीज? तर डिसीज इज अ डायनॅमिक डिरेंजमेंट ऑफ अ वायटल फोर्स by some disease dynamics or manifested externally as altered sensation and function, that we call it as a disease. So you have to write the definition of disease, that is the dynamic derangement of a vital force, that we call it as a disease. Then the definition of indisposition. So what is the definition? That is a slight alteration of a health manifested by one or two trivial symptoms that affect the person. That is the definition of indisposition. Then the second point is regarding, that is, in disease the vital force cannot adjust itself automatically even with adequate hygienic and dietetic measures, but require a specific stimulus in the form of medicine for restoration of balance. That is, in second point, the disease is not adjust automatically, or vital force cannot adjust automatically itself. It require some specific stimulus in the form of medicine. That is, it cannot be recovered by hygienic and dietetic measures. But in indisposition vital force does not derange. indisposition मध्ये vital force derange झालेलाच नाहीये तुमचा, आणि फक्त स्लाइट अल्टरेशन इन डाएट आणि रेजिमेन मध्ये जरी चेंजेस केले तुम्ही, तरी indisposition काय होतो, क्युअर होतो. हा झाला सेकंड पॉइंट. मग थर्ड पॉइंट आहे त्याच्यामध्ये त्यांनी सांगितलं, डिसीज हॅज टू अस्पेक्ट्स. इट मे बी अॅक्यूट डिसीज और इट मे बी अ क्रॉनिक डिसीज. डिसीज आपण क्लासिफिकेशन करू शकतो की अॅक्यूट डिसीज, क्रॉनिक डिसीज, हे काय झालं, डिसीजचं क्लासिफिकेशन झालं. पण देर इज नो सच टाइप्स ऑफ इनडिस्पोजिशन और सच अस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ इनडिस्पोजिशन. इनडिस्पोजिशनचे परत असे काही टाइप्स नाही आहेत किंवा अस्पेक्ट्स नाही आहेत. हा झाला तिसरा पॉइंट. देन disease can be cured by medicine whose pathogenetic effects are well known to the physicians from their thorough proving on healthy human beings. That is, मग डिसीज कशाने क्युअर होतो? विथ द मेडिसिन्स. म्हणजे असे मेडिसिन ज्यांचं पॅथोजेनेटिक इफेक्ट आपल्याला माहित आहे बाय द प्रोसेस ऑफ ड्रग प्रोविंग. आणि इन डिस्पोजिशन मध्ये काय, इन डिस्पोजिशन सिम्पटम्स आर सो इनसिग्निफिकंट दॅट बाय सम मॉडिफिकेशन्स ऑफ डाएट और रेग्युलेशन और हॅबिट दे डिसअपियर. मग इनडिस्पोजिशन मध्ये जे काही सिम्पटम्स असतात ते कसे असतात, एकदम इनसिग्निफिकंट असतात. त्याच्यामध्ये आपण मेडिसिन त्यांना मॅच करून देऊ शकत नाही, किंवा त्याच्यामध्ये मेडिसिन देण्याची गरजच नाहीये. कशामध्ये? इनडिस्पोजिशन मध्ये. कारण की सिम्पटम्स कसे, एकदम इनसिग्निफिकंट सिम्पटम्स आहेत, आणि ते तुम्ही फक्त डाएटमध्ये चेंज केलं किंवा तुमचं रेग्युलर हॅबिट फॉलो केलं, रेग्युलर हायजेनिक मेजर जर यूज केले, तर ते सिम्पटम काय होतात, आपोआप डिसअपियर होतात. आणि याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला मेडिसिनची गरज नाहीये. मेडिसिनची गरज तुम्हाला डिसीजमध्ये, इनडिस्पोजिशनमध्ये मेडिसिनची गरज नाहीये. हा एक दुसरा डिफरन्शिएटिंग पॉइंट झाला. आणि पाचवा त्यांनी दिलाय की नॅचरल डिसीजेस रिझल्टिंग फ्रॉम प्युअरली डायनॅमिक डिरेंजमेंट ऑफ अ व्हायटल फोर्स कॅन ओनली बी क्युअर्ड बाय होमिओपॅथी, इन विच फॉलोइंग द प्रिन्सिपल्स ऑफ similia similibus curanter administered medicines that are capable of producing a similar but stronger morbid state in place of a old existing natural disease. मग जे काही डिसीज कंडिशन आहे त्याच्यामध्ये आपण मेडिसिन कुठल्या बेसिसवरती देतो? ऑन द लॉ ऑफ सिमिलिया, दॅट इज सिमिलिया सिमिलिबस क्युरेंटर. आणि आपण अशा प्रकारे काय करतो की जो काही नॅचरल डिसीज आहे तो काय करतो बॉडीमधून रिमूव्ह करतो. आणि इंडिस्पोजिशन मध्ये काय की इंडिस्पोजिशनचं जे कॉज आहे याच्यामध्ये डिसीजचं कॉज काय आहे? इट इज अ डायनॅमिक डिरेंजमेंट ऑफ व्हायटल फोर्स. याच्यामध्ये फंडामेंटल कॉज प्रेझेंट आहे कशामध्ये? डिसीजमध्ये. पण इंडिस्पोजिशनमध्ये इंडिस्पोजिशनचं कॉज काय? दॅट इज सम एक्साइटिंग or the maintaining causes that we call as a causa occasionalis, and the treatment of indisposition necessarily involves the removal of these causes. याची ट्रीटमेंट म्हणजे काय? इंडिस्पोजिशनची आपल्याला ते कॉज रिमूव्ह करायचं आहे. and here the vital force is superficially affected and for restoration does not require a medical aid. मग आपल्याला जी काही हेल्थ रिस्टोर करायची त्याच्यासाठी आपल्याला जो काही व्हायटल फोर्स आहे तो काय झालाय? सुपरफिशियली अफेक्ट झालाय. त्याच्यामुळे त्याला रिस्टोर करण्यासाठी आपल्याला मेडिसिनची गरज नाहीये. फक्त आपण कॉज रिमूव्ह केलं आणि त्याचं डाएट अँड रेजिमेंट जर रेग्युलर केलं तर तो इंडिस्पोजिशन आपोआप काय होतो? क्युअर होतो. तर हे काय डिफरन्शिएटिंग पॉइंट बिटवीन डिसीज अँड इंडिस्पोजिशन. कळाले का आता सगळ्यांना? डिफरन्स बिटवीन डिसीज अँड इंडिस्पोजिशन. So in this way we finished the indisposition according to Kent also and according to the general indisposition also. कळालंय सगळ्यांना? काही अडचण आहे? ओके. दीपाली कळाले का? सगळेच बोलत जा ना, काहीतरी रिस्पॉन्स देत जा. फक्त एक दोघांनी हो नाही म्हटलं तर मग ते कळत नाही ना बाकीचे ऐकतायत की नाही ऐकत आहेत. झूम वरती लेक्चर कशासाठी घेतो आपण? इंटरॅक्शन साठी घेतो ना. तुम्ही काहीतरी बोलायला पाहिजे तिकडून. फक्त मी बडबड करत राहिले तर मग काय? ऑडिओ पाठवलं तरी चालतं मग तसं. झूम कशासाठी ठेवलं? इंटरॅक्शन साठी. सगळेच डाऊट विचारत जा. नाही कळालं तर परत विचारा. आणि तुम्ही पण काहीतरी रिस्पॉन्स देत जा. म्हणजे तुम्ही ऐकताय हे कळेल मला. ओके. उद्या नेक्स्ट दुसरा टॉपिक घेऊ आपण फिलॉसॉफीचा काहीतरी. सो वी विल स्टॉप हिअर. ओके. ओके. बाय. बाय बाय.